the mother of this cat broke a window, flew in our house. And I wanted, my brother said, well, we got to keep this cat. And mother looked all over for the owner, but couldn't find it. And so about 3 weeks later, mother heard a knock on the door, and this woman said, when the bombs were hit a few weeks ago, I lost my cat. And my brother was hiding behind the door going, no, 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 no. And so my mother said, why don't you give me your name and your address, and I will see if he's around, because mother knew that the cat was pregnant. So when the cat had the kittens, mother put the kittens in a basket, and then one of them looked just like the mother, which was an albino with pink eyes, but unusual. It had a kind of a tabby tail, which is unusual for a one that had pink eyes. So then we kept that one, and mother found the woman and said, here's your cat with all its kittens. It was probably hiding to have the cats, but we kept the one. And so Hilda, his daughter Helen, ended up with my cat when we came to Minnesota, because mother didn't know you could bring an animal on the boat.
All right.
Yeah. Okay, very nice. Thank you for that. Okay, so have we got anyone else on the call who are from other of the children of Eliezar and Genendel? I don't think we do have.
How funny, your grandpa.
I think we've covered most people. The one was Israel. I don't know what happened to him, but I believe he died very young, and I don't think he had any children from the information that we have.
I don't think he married, Matthew.
Sorry, he didn't even marry.
I don't think he married. There's no record.
Yeah, he must. Yeah. Okay, so there we go. So those are the 10. And now I wanted just to mention a bit about, just because it happened literally in the last few days, after refinding Nesta. By the way, all of this happened because I fell upon Nesta in some family tree linked to a George ELBAUM, ELBAUM, and I thought, well, that's a bit. You don't see that name very often. And using my my skills, I actually managed to find her address. Nesta Keller is quite a rare name. Fortunately, in this case, I found her address in America, and I just had this hunch. I've never done this before. I just had this hunch that she could be related to us. I didn't have Nesta in my family tree. I only had George, her father. And so it was a Friday night, and I just called her because I got hold of her telephone number through the internet, through my ways. And I think she thought I was a bit of a weirdo calling her up, another tree.
I thought it was a scam. I thought it was a scam call.
Yeah. But once we both calmed down, we then realised that she is the one, and it was a very nice, exciting moment for someone like me who does the research. But anyway, in the last week, I started doing a bit more research, and basically I came across some new records, because I only search every few years, and new things crop up ever so often. And this record cropped up, which is a residence record of Lodge. And it had basically the name Genendel ELBAUM, which is one of the daughters, the same name as one of the daughters of Eliezar. And she was born in Dombia. And I thought, well, how many, and the year was about correct. And I thought, well, what is the chances? Married to a man called Isaac Unikowski with these children. So I did a bit of a search for Isaac Unikowski, and I came across this marriage certificate between the two. All right, so this is what I found on the internet. This is Genendel in Yiddish or Polish. Married to Isaac Unikowski, 1885. Wow. So I went and got hold of the marriage record. Now this is written in Russian, because there were times when Dombia was under Russian control and times when it was under Polish control. So sometimes these handwritten records are in Russian or Polish. I can't read either of them, but this is actually written in Russian. So the beauty of Facebook is there is a group that is people are willing to translate these documents for you. So I translated the document, and there it had ELBAUM Genendel, maiden, 18 years old, was born in the town of Dombia, daughter of Layzer, which is Eliezar, and Rachel Frankenstein. So it was clear that she was the second daughter, actually the second daughter of Eliezar. So that was quite exciting. I then did another search on the internet and I found somebody in Israel who's researching the Unikowski family. And I contacted him, and it turns out he had Genendel Mandelbaum. He had a slightly different name, which he now agrees was not correct. And he has the whole family tree of the descendants of Genendel, who is the half sister of all of them. And you can't see this in detail, but basically she had, I think, 5 children. All of them left Europe before the war. And actually only one of them, I think a couple of them did die in the Holocaust. And actually there's a whole set of descendants living in Argentina, in Buenos Aires, and in Israel, in Tel Aviv, and in Haifa and other places, who are thriving and living today, who actually are also third or fourth, or probably not second cousins, third or fourth cousins of ours. And I've actually made contact with one of the descendants, a guy who lives in Haifa, and I'm going to speak to him later this week to see what he knows. So there's a whole new branch that I found literally in the last few days that was quite amazing and interesting. And I will share information.
Matthew, you've done brilliantly. Matthew, you've done fantastic.
Okay, thank you. So now for some pics. Okay, this is actually not, this is the end. This is the census that shows Lazarus leaving with, it looks like Isaac, his son, and I can't read what that is, but anyway.
Minnie.
Who was Minnie?
Well, it says it's his wife, so that would have been Genendel. Was she known as Minnie?
Minnie. I remember my dad mentioned to my mom that there was a Minnie in the family, but I don't know how he connected.
Anyway, it says that Isaac, or Israel, this is probably Israel actually, sorry, Israel. It says he was a bootmaker. He was a tailor and a bootmaker. You know, it's quite interesting, this. Right, now for some family snaps that have come from various people on the call. So Rini, you want to talk through this picture as you sent it to me?
Jack and
Is it the boy?
These are my parents, the couple in the front with the bar mitzvah boy. That's my mother and my father. She was Leah and Jack, and the ones at the back are family.
Well,
That's the bar mitzvah boy's mother.
Didn't Leah?
That's my mother.
Did she used to say, "Touch the wood and whistle"?
Touch wood.
Probably.
Touch wood.
But can I ask, Leah was towards the end was deaf, yes?
Yes.
That's right.
I
That's
remember.
right. Yeah.
Just ring the bell and the light used to light up.
I remember that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So do I.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
She always used to say, "Touch the wood and whistle."
Yeah, touch wood and whistle. I remember them saying that.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Next. So there's a few here that I've put together. Hopefully I put all the names correct. This is from Angela.
Yeah.
So you can see that you've got this is Yetta, right? Is that correct, Angela? I think I got it right.
Yes.
And this was Yetta, who obviously was one of the sisters, and then Morris, and then the 3 children.
Yeah, Mark was my dad.
Right, who's the little boy in the middle, and then you said that there was a daughter who sadly died very young, correct, Jenny?
I think just before her 14th birthday.
Right.
Yeah, she was 14.
Yeah. And then and Uncle Jack, he was 41 or 42 when he died.
See my
What's happened to Lenny?
Leonard, yeah,
Yeah.
well, he's not very well at the moment, but he's still alive anyway.
Okay.
Okay, so these are from my this is my great grandfather. Okay, so this is Jacob ELBAUM, looking very smart in a very nice suit. I'm sure he made himself. and his wife Rebecca. That's remember Rebecca Solomon, who was the daughter of the tailor, and which is the reason why we all became tailors. Well, when I say we, I have to say none of my generation has become tailors, but my father is a tailor, my grandfather is a tailor, and my great-grandfather Jacob was a tailor. For some reason, this generation, we kind of missed it. I wonder why. But anyway.
Matthew, I remember your great-grandparents.
Really? Wow.
Or not. Yeah, I remember them.
Oh. You remember Jacob?
I always considered your grandmother to be like Queen Mary. Do you know Rebecca?
Yeah.
Rebecca.
Yes.
In my eyes, your grandmother, great grandmother, right?
Yes.
Was like the Queen Mary to me.
No, she was my grandmother.
Grandmother.
She was my
grandmother,
but I didn't know her.
Yeah.
After her.
I remember her well.
Okay, and so Jacob and Rebecca, they had a few children that I mentioned before, but they also had, I don't know why I've been picking out the ones that died young, but there was a son called Joseph who died at the age of 10. I can't remember. Do you remember? I think, was he the one who drowned?
I think he had appendicitis.
He had appendicitis.
No, I don't remember.
Burst appendix.
Burst appendix, yeah.
I love, okay, now this is the best picture of all the pictures I have. I love this picture.
Margate Beach, that's the one my
So
dad.
Jacob, like me, I was skinny as a boy, and as I've got older, I think I have taken on my great-grandfather's stomach. This is Jacob and Rebecca sitting on Margate Beach. She doesn't.
They don't look very happy. No,
probably cold. That's why. I think it's a great picture.
Lovely picture.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Great picture, that.
I got a picture of my father, George, at Margate with a stuffed, great big huge dog, but it was at Margate, and a picture of my brother and I and my dad together was the last picture before he died. He died at 42. He swallowed a bone, and he only had one lung and emphysema. The bone busted his only good lung, and he didn't live for very long. But I got a picture of my dad with at Margate too.
Oh, really? Okay, I've got some pictures of your family in a second, Netta. So,
Jacob.
Nesta, sorry.
Yeah.
And that's Jacob again on the right-hand side, looking a bit a younger Jacob, looking very smart with a very nice. Because he's got a very nice ring on his finger there, like they kiss the ring. This is I am being a little bit biased because I can't forget my dear grandfather, the parents of my parents, Pa Mark, as we used to call him, or PM, Grandpa Mark. So he's the son of Jacob, with my grandmother Mardora, who I don't really remember because she died when I was only a few years old, but I know my brothers remember her quite well. Okay, so these have come from these are from Aunt Rebecca, and we've got Valerie's in this picture here, I think.
And Jackie, my sister. Also Jackie, my sister, the baby.
You're in the, so this is you, Valerie, on the right, I guess, yeah?
Yeah, and that's my sister in the middle, the baby.
Right, and then on the left is Auntie Rebecca. Rebecca is on the call, and above is my dad.
With my family.
And then on the left is
Uncle Mort.
Uncle Mort. So Mark and Sydney's sister was Ada, Auntie Ada, right? And she was married to Mort, who we called Uncle Mort, and that's a picture of their wedding, looking also very nice. I wonder who provided the suit. Okay, so Robin,
quite young.
So I'm going to need help from you, Robin, because you sent this to me about 8 years ago, this picture. Is Robin still on the line?
Funny enough, I've got it right here to show you. I don't remember sending it to you. Yeah.
Well, I just copied all the names that you sent me here.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. That's Sully.
Oh, yeah.
Gwenda in there.
Oh, that's,
Oh,
no,
that's,
there he is.
Morris.
That's
That's
Morris.
Stuart. There's Pearl there. Yeah. Golda,
Older.
Gwenda.
Yeah, Pearl and Ginny.
Older. And
There's that's Gwenda's dad. That's her mum,
Wow.
Lenny and Josie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, can you go inside with it?
I think that's Lenny at the back.
Russell, it's there.
There's Lenny at the back. Wasn't his wedding?
Was he the tailor?
Lenny, no.
No.
It was Mark and Alf. Mark and Alf, the two on the right hand side next to each other were tailors.
Easy.
I wonder if that's the one that was related to my dad. That was the tailor that they kept getting mixed up with. Oh,
No.
Maybe.
Wait, in the front was the mother, Rachel, I can see. Third from the right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Here, this one.
Yeah, right.
Yes,
That one.
yeah.
It's Auntie Rachel.
look at that. That
That's Rachel. Okay.
And Lenny at the back, I can see in the centre.
Yeah.
That's Stella. There's Stella.
Yes. Huh? Did you say
And
something?
Ginny and Pearly and Golden.
Robin, do you know what the event was? Was this a...
Yes, it was
Lenny's wedding.
His wife next to him, Josie.
Right. Oh, right in the middle. Yeah, I can suddenly see now. Yeah, I can see there's the
Oh,
bride
yeah.
there. Yeah. Okay, very nice.
They had a son Mitchell. Lenny and Josie had a son Mitchell, who's married. I don't think they have any children.
No,
they don't. No.
Okay, next picture. This was this is Rebecca ELBAUM. So this is Jacob's wife. With this is with my grandmother, Mardora. Correct, Aunt Rebecca?
Correct.
This is the younger.
That's Mardora. Recognize her anyway.
Also in, so they were both quite small, both of them. Because Mardora, my grandmother,
too.
was so small.
4'10", my mother.
Yeah.
5'1".
Okay.
Oh, there's
So-
my father.
So here we go. So Nesta. So Nesta, this is your father, George.
Yeah, that's
correct?
I sent you that
You
and
confirmed it
acknowledged
to me
that was-
yesterday. Right, and
He
he
made
was
that-
also.
He made that suit.
Well, I'm sure he was a tailor, so I hope he did.
Yeah.
And as you mentioned with your story, is that when he passed away, you were just a young girl, and your mother, who was called Eve Album, and my sister-in-law is called Eve Album, from Daniel, who I don't think he joined in the end. And George's sister was Jenny. So one of your aunts was Jenny, and
Hilda.
I believe your other. I think this was Simi, right? This was your
Yeah,
aunt
that's
Simi
Simi.
who was mentioned.
And then they had Hilda too.
Right, I didn't have a picture of her. Correct. Yeah.
Hilda Moss.
Hilda Moss, yeah. Married to Lou. Lou. Oh, wow.
Okay. So this is Alf. This is Robin's father.
Yeah. Robbie Jeremy's
father. Yeah. So this is Alf Album.
Wow.
Oh my goodness.
And that's Millie sitting on the hill edge.
That must be
That's Rampart Street.
Rampart Street. Yeah. Wow.
Rampart Street.
That's a good picture.
Yes, I like that picture, Robbie. I like that picture.
Yeah,
I've got it as well.
Really? I don't see it.
Have to get them all out again.
Wow.
Sending you these pictures.
Okay. those are all the pictures I have. If you've got more, please send, and I'll add them into the tree. But just a couple of words just to give people an idea. So this is Dombia, okay, and as I mentioned that Eliezar was born in Glovno, so somehow he got from Glovno to Dombia. We don't know when and how, but obviously after his parents died, quite away, 110 kilometers. And Lodz, which is where basically most Jews went to from this area, unless they went after the war. It's 55 kilometers away. Now, the reason why I've mentioned Kolo and Kutno is that Kolo in particular is basically very close, and there are records of ELBAUM, marriages, births, and deaths that I've seen that I've not researched yet, but I've not been able to see any connection yet, but they must be connected somehow. So maybe I will find more information in the future. The other thing to mention, yes.
So I know I heard you say when I was in the car, hi, it's Rachel, I'm Rebecca's daughter. So I've been to Dombia a few times. Don't get excited, you'll miss it if you blink. It's a tiny village. All that exists today basically is a town square, but I do have a photograph of myself and my daughter on one of our school trips. Matthew, I don't know if I've sent it to you, outside what was Yehudit Herzig's family home and shop. And as you mentioned before, the shul, what is remaining of the shul is now an apartment building. So the only remaining part of the shul is what is the artwork that was on top of the Aron Kodesh. Now, the sad thing, and you can climb up and see it. Mum, I think I've called you from there on occasion on the phone.
Yes.
Standing. I think the sad thing about Dombia and what is particularly remarkable about our family is it is 1.5 miles, kilometre and a half from the Chelmno death camp. There were almost no survivors from there. So unless members of our family left Dombia, that they would have perished there in the Holocaust. And it is one of those places, if you go there, it is an open field, but because of the nature of the environment there, to this day, very sadly, bone fragments come to the surface quite often. And I have on a number of occasions done some collections. What we do with groups is collect them and we bury them. And they're, rather than, as in many places in the Holocaust, being able to give individual gravestones, there are plaques to people from various towns. And obviously one of the larger ones is Dombia, because it is the closest village, unfortunately, to Chelmno. But as a place, apart from the remnants of the shul, there is a one small memorial to the village rabbi, but that is all that is there today. There is nothing else to see there.
Yeah, that's amazing. I hope one day maybe to visit it. Would like to visit it, and but I've seen your pictures, and there was a video that I posted that somebody else did of the town. I don't think there's a graveyard. The graveyard was ruined, so you can't even see anything from there. But anyway, so yeah, so it's quite interesting that I don't know how.
Matthew, can I be self-indulgent and show the information down?
Yeah.
That one was maybe in Poland.
See?
Do I need to stop sharing?
Thank you, Matthew.
Right, so that's
for all your hard work.
Thanks, Rita.
Thank you for all your hard work.
Thank you. I'll promise to come and visit you with probably with my Aunt Rebecca when she next comes out, if we're ever allowed to travel again.
Exactly.
Wonderful, wonderful.
Amazing to see you, Bertie.
Bizrat Hashem.
Yeah, definitely. So
Thank
that's
you for
it from
finding
that. Yeah, so firstly, that's it from me. I don't have everyone's emails because some people forwarded. So if you want to get a copy of what I just presented, if you can somehow get to me or whoever contacted you, I'm very, very happy to send all the information out. And then if you've got other information in the tree, when you look at it that's wrong or incorrect, or pictures to add. We didn't talk about Rini's amazing story. I've actually got that story, your whole story about what happened to you, your family, Rini, how you got to where you did. And, you know, it's good to keep it there because certainly in Israel, and I'm sure maybe some of your grandchildren or great-grandchildren, either they will ask the question one day, and now we've got that information that you can just give to them. But in Israel, most of the children have to do their family roots as a project. Actually, my children never chose the ELBAUM family because we had all the information. They actually chose my wife's family at one time and my mum's family, where actually we have huge amounts of information as well. But it's good you've got it, and then, you know, it's a sort of something to keep and to pass on and to extend. So Jeremy just gave me the names of his grandchildren that I wasn't aware of, so I just added it to the tree. And maybe there are some other generations. Actually, I have to admit, Rachel, I haven't actually before. Your
Have you added my granddaughter?
Who is that who asked that?
Rachel.
Yeah, I actually did. I haven't done so yet. I'll be
My great-granddaughter.
Yeah, I'm a grandma.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I know. To be honest with you, Rachel, I can't keep up with your family. They're sort of, you know, doubling, tripling faster than I can type at the moment. So, yeah. I need to hire someone full time, I think, to actually just take care of your family and Rebecca's family.
Matthew, can you see this picture that I've got in my hand of their my father and mother's store?
No, I can't. I can only see your face, Nesta. But you can.
I'm glad you can see my face. I'm glad I can't see mine, but anyway.
Hold it up in front of your face, then we'll see.
Yeah.
Put it in
I
front of your
look like
face.
anybody in the family. Oh, here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's gone.
It's really good. Look at that.
That's my mother, and that's me before we came to well, I was a bit older when we came to our store, and the windows are boarded because they were bombed out, and and they hadn't replaced.
What sort of shop was it?
And this is my father, who was at the beach I was telling you about, but it's not real. It's right on the beach where the pictures of the whoever that was on the beach with the so
Matthew, did you put up photos of the ELBAUM Brothers shop?
Yeah.
No, we need to, because we've got 2 tailor shop pictures now we need to add, right? Well, 3, because we've got my dad's, we've then got my grandfather's, and now we've got Nesta's father's with the ELBAUM.
and he's buried in Ebdington too, my father.
Right.
Oh, wow.
So this is, I don't know if you can see this.
Yeah.
Very good, yes.
That's my
So
father.
that's George.
That's
That's
George.
George.
Yeah, and my mother. And that's my brother when he was younger. And then, and this is Grandma Rachel by my mother's mother. And this is my mother and Jenny, my dad's sister.
Nesta.
Yeah.
Our eldest son, David, is friends with Jenny's grandson.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow.
Jenny had a son called Stanley.
Yep, just after, and then
Stanley's
after
got 2. Yeah, and Stanley's got 2 sons. Well, David is friends with Elliot.
Oh, okay. See, my father, the Jewish name was Judah.
Mm.
And my brother, who is Moshe Pentecost and Jewish, was named after our grandfather, and their daughter was named after my father. Instead of saying Judah in the Jewish name, she's named Judy.
Right.
And so I said, that's the only my family here in America in here. We could have a reunion in my bathtub. There's only 5 of us.
Right. So so Nesta has a brother called Morris, not to be mistaken with grandfather Morris,
Morris,
who
yeah.
also lives in Minnesota. I met him and Aunt Rebecca on the last call we had, and he has a daughter called Judith, who also
Yeah.
lives in Minnesota.
Yeah.
So.
I know. I
Matthew,
can't
if
believe I had, up until Matthew got a hold of me, I only thought I had 5 left. And now I got all you relatives. I'm so excited.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I can't believe it.
Matthew, if we have photos, what do we do? Do we send them to you and you put them on the internet somehow?
Yeah. So if you know how to scan them, you can just email them to me, and then
Okay.
I can put them on. That's the best way. In fact, that's much better than, I mean, I wouldn't recommend you sending them in the mail because I can't guarantee you'll ever get them back.
Yeah.
Yeah, they get damaged.
No, email is fantastic.
Yeah, so if you can do that and scan them, I know Nesta,
Scan them in.
our technical guy, we didn't get her photos in time, but when our technical guy's back from his vacation or wherever he is,
Then I
he's
can
getting
send
on,
them.
then she's going to scan and send them to me as well, yeah.
Yeah, and
So
then
please do.
yeah, and Matthew, if you can email me your address as it's supposed to be, I will mail them directly to you.
Yes, I'll give you my my mailing address, no problem. And anything else? I mean, I didn't show it, but I know Aunt Rebecca showed me. I was gonna use you as the model, Martin. I could show. Shall I show it now? The picture of Eliezer's
yes. Yes.
Okay, let me show you that because Aunt Rebecca has Eliezer's kippah, his from the high holiday, his yarmulke. Let me just see if I can find it again. Wait, just give me a second. Here we go.
I'll phone you back in 5 minutes. I'm just on a call.
Here we go. I'll show this to you now. There we go.
Matthew.
Beautifully modelled, Martin. Beautifully modelled.
Yeah, I charge for this.
That was Eliezer's Yom Tov Kippah.
Wow.
And did Eliezer smoke a pipe?
What'd you say, Jack?
Did Eliezer smoke a pipe?
On Yom, not on Shabbos.
Not on Yom Tov, okay.
She's the headmistress of the school.
Yeah, that's a nice. I don't know whether anyone has any other old mementos like that, but that's quite a good
How
one.
old is the kipper?
Yeah, I've got something. Wait a sec.
Oh.
Oh yes, no.
Yeah, it's pretty old. That kippah must be like 100 years old or something, more than that.
Smells like it as well.
This is a challah cover.
Challah
decker, which belonged to my grandparents, Rebecca and Jack's parents. It's got their names Mordechai and Devara at the bottom. I will tell you how I came to have it, everybody. I use it every Friday night in my home. And I would reckon it's, what year did they get married? I reckon it's
1932.
Oh,
and my daughter wore her great grandmother's veil at her wedding 3 years ago. We still have it, and it's around the family for those whose dresses it matches.
Lovely, really nice.
And when my son Idan had his bar mitzvah, which was quite a few years ago now, 10 years, not 10 years. My dad gave him tefillin, which belonged to Jacob. It has been refurbished, but they were Jacob's. So our great grandfather's tefillin, I have, or Idan has, my son has. Doesn't get much use of them, I'll be honest, but he does have them.
Whoops.
I forgot what they call that.
So yeah, so we have that. So very nice. Okay.
Matthew, you've done very well. Matthew, thank you.
Matthew, you have Matthew.
Yay!
Amazing.
One thing I want to ask, right? I know I don't know what age everybody is, but is baldness hereditary? I'm the only one to have hair.
The hair came down the female side of the family.
My father was never bald. He had a good
No, he wasn't.
Sydney was.
Sydney was.
Yeah.
If I remember right.
Yes, I
Is that
remember.
right,
Ken
Valerie?
wasn't.
He wore a wig in the end.
Yes, yes.
I did you?
Oh dear, I didn't know.
Very well done, Matthew. Thank you very much indeed.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Faulkner does seem
well
to
put
run in the
together.
family.
This is
The
fantastic.
other thing that doesn't run in the family is I don't believe, well, please correct me wrong, I don't know of any descendant who actually is a doctor from the ELBAUMs. I don't believe there's any doctor from anyone. So
No.
we obviously done something wrong there. Although my daughter is threatening to be one, but I don't know whether she will do it or not. So,
Wait, hello. I have a granddaughter who's a doctor.
do you? Oh, there we go. Fantastic.
Wait, and it's David's daughter. David's daughter.
You saved
Oh,
it.
okay.
Yeah, she's a
Right, so-
specialist in gastrointestinal medicine.
Oh, that's
Okay,
interesting.
We're all going to
Interesting.
need that. We all probably need that. Definitely.
Angela certainly does with ulcerative colitis.
Oh, here we go.
Too much information.
So I think we have lawyers and accountants for sure, but I wasn't aware. So that's good to know, David, that we do have.
How, Matthew, how many are still in London or England of the family?
The majority, I guess.
Oh, okay. We lived on Lee Bridge Road.
Oh my goodness. Leabridge Road, yeah.
That's where I used to go and stay, yeah.
Yeah, that's where the shop was, and we lived above it.
What, in Lee Bridge Road?
Pardon me?
Lee Bridge
In
Road.
Lee Bridge Road. Yeah.
Well, my parents, we used to live in Stoke Newington. It was only sort of a couple of miles away from Lee Bridge Road.
Yeah, we lived at 398 Lee Bridge Road. We had a grocer next door and a fish market across the street. And
I went to school. Round the corner from Lee Bridge Road.
Oh,
Laura Place.
And I went to Clapton Jewish Club that was in Lee Bridge Road.
Oh, for heaven's sake.
I went there. That was upstairs.
Ravina, where did your parents live in Stoke Newington?
I lived in Stoke Newington as well.
Stamford Hill. Stamford Hill.
I lived in the city.
Wow, that's interesting. Well, Lee Bridge Road was really bombed quite a bit in that area during the war, because that's why the windows had blown out and Mother made tea. She had 11 cots in the basement that they had forced, everybody had to have by inches of their home, how much they would have to take in if there was an air raid. So Simi and his wife and Hilda and Jenny, my dad said, why don't you come and work with me, and then I'm going to put you down as residents. And they sold their place so they all stayed at our house in the shop. And then she had 11 cots in the basement, and my mom and dad had the coal bin to sleep because it was the only one that had a door.
Nesta, I've just Googled that address. It's still a tailor's.
Yes, but it was for a tailor for a movie star.
Chalice and Gun.
It was called Chalice and Gun.
Yeah, it's called Ron Gunn's Tailor today.
Okay, when we went there to see it, it was
Still
called
called
Chalice
Ron Gun
and Gun,
Tailor.
and they did tailoring for 398 Lee Bridge Road.
Nesta, when did you leave Lee Bridge Road? What year?
We came to America. I was 6 years old, so that would have been
10 years ago.
Probably 1954, 55. We came to America. My mother had a brother that lived in Minnesota, and she had one in New York and one in California, which was on my mother's side. And when my dad died, it was very difficult for my mother to try to tell his brothers and sisters to do something because it was their shop. So, and they didn't want to listen to my mother. So it was very hard for her. So she had wrote a letter to her brother in Minnesota that they were only 11 months apart. And he said, well, why don't you come to America? And then he built his own house here in St. Paul, which was gorgeous, all brick, and he did it by hand, just him. And it was by a lake. And so he wrote and said that we have downstairs that you and your 2 kids can stay in as long as you need to. And that's why we came. So I was 6 and my brother was 9 years older.
Right.
But we've been back. We were back in England many times. And in fact, we were there when Princess Diana died.
Oh,
And so we signed the memorial book and everything, went down to see the flowers. And we stayed with my sister-in-law's sister, which was a block and a half from where the hearse went by. And we went up and put flowers ahead of it. So, but we've been back to London quite a few times. But it has, now there's no travel.
that's right.
Yeah.
have to go.
We have to go.
All right.
We're going to do the cooking.
Toodaloo. Toodaloo.
Nice talking to you.
Yeah, mazel tov to everybody, and toodaloo. Bye.
Lovely to see you.
God bless all. Stay well, stay safe.
Yeah, God bless.
Bye, Gwenda.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Robbie.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, all.
Bye, Rachel.
Hi, Mum.
Bye, Matthew.
Bye. Thank you, everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for finding me.
Bye-bye.
Thanks for finding
Thank
me.
you.
Oh, brilliant.
Thanks,
Brilliant.
I know.
Come quickly.
Bye, everybody.
Goodbye.
Bye. Thanks, Matthew.
Bye, everyone.
You're
Thank you very
welcome.
much, Matthew.
Bye. Bye.
Daniel didn't turn up.
Well
No,
done,
he
Matthew.
didn't
It
turn
was a
up. Sorry.
great
but,
presentation. A lot of hard
thank you.
work.
Well,
Fantastic.
Okay.
Nice
Yeah,
to meet
sorry,
you all.
he didn't
Nice to
turn
meet
up,
you
but I
all.
don't know.
Bye, Gwenda.
Bye. Nice
Bye.
to see you.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye, Rob.
Gwenda.
See you tomorrow, Jack.
Bye, Gwenda.
See you tomorrow, Beck.
I told Rosella, I don't know where she is. She was going to come on.
Oh, I don't know where that really.
Really?
Okay,
You know her
yeah.
a bit, do you?
No, might have missed one. Maybe-
Right, okay, bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Bye.
Bye, everyone.
God
Take
bless.
care.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye, Matthew.
Thanks,
Bye,
Matthew.
Matthew.
Bye.
Bye. Just